Hello everyone, my name is Sigurd and today I'm here to give my persuasive speech on overfishing and the detrimental effects it can have on the environment and humans. So the thought of buying fish from a grocery store or going out to a restaurant to get seafood doesn't really cross people's minds twice these days because of our affordable prices and how convenient it is to actually get seafood. And with today's technology and global fishing strategies, seafood is made accessible to almost every part of the world, even parts that are far away from the oceans. But people never really question what truly makes seafood so cheap and affordable in our countries. And the answer to that is overfishing. So overfishing is basically the unethical process of fishing to the point where an ecosystem faces detrimental effects. And this issue may seem insignificant to us humans because it's just the oceans, I guess, but if you take a further look into it, you can see that it's causing potentially irreversible damage to not only the oceans, but also humans itself, and we could face danger soon. So in this presentation, I want to talk a little bit about why we need to take crucial action on this issue now before it's actually too late. So one of the leading causes of overfishing is that, according to the World Wildlife Fund, is illegal fishing practices that are not under control by any sort of government, federal or global government forces. And as they say in their website, experts estimate illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing net criminals up to $36.4 billion a year. That's how much money's worth of product illegally gets fished. And the lack of attention to this illegal fishing practices by the government is what leads to this issue being worsened. And overfishing does have detrimental impacts on our ecosystems and our oceans as a whole. And according to the World Wildlife Fund, overfishing can impact entire ecosystems and change the size of the fish remaining, as well as how they reproduce and the speed at which they mature. So if steps aren't taken to address this issue more and more species will become endangered and eventually go extinct. Entire ecosystems can be torn apart from the imbalance caused by overfishing. So, and it's not only harmful to the oceans and the animals, but it's actually very bad for humans as well in the long run. So according to the Environmental Defense Fund, without sustainable management, our fisheries face collapse and we could potentially be facing a food crisis in the future. The reason this is so important is because according to the World Wildlife Fund, actually, billions of people rely on fish for protein, nutrition, and just food overall, all around the world. So by making the fish supply more scarce and overfishing and emptying out our oceans, we're affecting the lives of billions of people who actually rely on fish for food. So now that I've made it kind of clear why overfishing is such an insignificant issue, I want to talk a little bit more about the solutions and what can be done to stop these problems in the future. So the best way to approach this issue is to focus on what causes overfishing in the first place. And it's not just the increasing demand in our world for fish, but it's actually the farmers themselves who are just trying to make a profit and do so by overfishing. So to save the oceans from being fished down clean, the farmers and fisheries must be given a good reason or like an incentive to stop fishing so much in the first place. So according to the Environmental Defense Fund, with smarter management systems known as fishing rights, we can reverse the incentives that lead to overfishing. So in a way, we just make it so that the income of farmers and fisheries will increase as the fish populations increase rather than how much product they actually catch. So you may be wondering how the solution would actually work in action. Well, both farmers and oceans will be kept happy because farmers do not gain as much from overfishing and the oceans aren't fish clean. And people are still have access to fish as a food source. We can help the oceans from the damage we have caused over the decades and allow species and ecosystems to return to their natural order. So I just want to show you guys a quick map of the overfishing scale actually in the world. And red, as you can see, is the countries that overfish the most. And you can see it's one of the most powerful and richest countries in the world. We have America right here, China, all around Asia. So these are big industries that are making a lot of profit off of just fishing the oceans clean. And we can help the ocean. And I think that like the more you dig deeper into this, like it really makes you realize how big of an issue this truly is and how just sacrificing a little bit of our convenience for seafood can help save the planet in the future and save us from a potential food crisis in the future. But for some good news, actually, the fishing rights method that I mentioned earlier about giving farmers and fisheries incentives has actually been working. And we have lowered overfishing practices by about 60% on federal waters, but 60% may seem like a big number, but it's still not enough to help the ecosystem get back to where we were. So we have to continue trying and continue discouraging these terrible practices so we can keep the planet the way it should be. Thank you very much.